Good day to you all. I am Mike Welch and I'm with the American Independence Museum in Exeter, New Hampshire. We're very fortunate to have with us yet again Superior Court Judge for the state of New Hampshire, Judge William Delker. Thank you so much, Judge, for joining us again today. We're having our discussion, our conversations with you all regarding basic American government, and we've been focusing most recently on the court system, and I know you can help us out a lot with that. So, my first question to you, sir, do citizens have a direct role in the court system, other than just bringing forth a lawsuit if they believe that their rights have been violated?
Yeah, Mike, so we often think of democracy, when we think of democracy, we often think of going to the polls and voting. That's sort of the most common way people think about democracy. But the courts actually have a really important role in this, in that jurors are one of the fundamental ways in which citizens exercise the power of democracy. And so what I mean by that is that when a person is accused of a crime, it's not some bureaucrat or politician who decides whether that person actually committed a crime. Rather, the person who's been accused has an absolute constitutional right to a jury trial. And a jury trial is where 12 ordinary men and women called from all walks of life decide whether the government can prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. And so in that way, the citizens directly are involved in deciding, are directly involved between the government and the accused.
I understand. So I've been called for jury duty, and I have a little idea of what you're talking about. So that the jurors are selected. Explain to me a little better than what I witnessed, because what I witnessed might not be average for everyone. So how should jurors be selected?
Sure.
Where they come from?
So what the Constitution protects is that the right to be tried by a jury of your peers in the community where the crime happened. So in New Hampshire, for example, you have a right to be tried in the county where that crime happened. And so jurors are selected at random from towns across, say, Rockingham County. And they're not picked based on any particular qualifications they have. In fact, it is the broad experience of these 12 individuals who come together that is the strength of the jury system. They bring their common sense and their collective experience in deciding whether the government can prove these charges against an individual beyond a reasonable doubt. And that is really where the power of the people are involved directly in the government and in the courts.
I see. Is the right to a jury trial actually mentioned in the Declaration of Independence and/or the Constitution?
It absolutely is. So the jury trials have existed in our experience for hundreds of years. And one of the things that sparked the American Revolution was the fact that the servants of the King of England were arresting colonists here in America and accusing them of crimes, but they weren't giving them a right to a trial here in the colonies before their peers. Rather, they were shipping the colonists all the way across the ocean to be tried in England, and that was mentioned specifically as one of the grievances that Thomas Jefferson put in the Declaration of Independence. And it's mentioned directly in the Constitution itself, in the body of the Constitution. And it's also mentioned both in the Sixth Amendment and the Seventh Amendment to the U.S. Constitution that we have a right to fair and independent trial by jury.
I noticed you keep using the word, we have a right to be tried here, or a right to, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's automatic. So some cases might be judged by, if the accused does not have to have a jury, he could be judged in a different form, perhaps with a lower court officer. Is that possible? Or?
Well, no. So the right The right is the individual's right. So if
Yes.
you were accused of a crime, for example, Mike, let's say you were accused of stealing something, it's your decision. And if you want
That's what I
the
was.
jury, yes, absolutely. It's your decision. If you
Right.
want a jury of your peers to decide whether the government has correctly accused you of a crime, that is your absolute right. Now, you can waive that right. We can waive any rights if we don't exercise them. But if you say, I want a jury of trial in front of a jury of my peers, that is what the Constitution absolutely guarantees you. And it's in that way that the people are involved directly in the process.
So not only do we have rights, we have flexibility.
We do.
What a document.
It is a great document.
Again, I can't thank you enough, sir, for sharing your time with us today. Again, this is Judge William Delker of the New Hampshire Superior Court System. Thank you, sir. And I'm Mike Welch with the American Independence in Exeter, New Hampshire.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us.